Hello and welcome to another new episode of Learning Simplified. In our previous tutorial, we had learned about how to center our text element over an image source. Now in this tutorial, we are going to learn about how to center another text element on a background image source that we are about to use into our project. So stay tuned. Now in the previous case, all we did, we had imported an image as an image source into our project. We had practically written over it and centered the text element into the exact middle of that individual image that we had imported. Now this is a very good movement because in some certain cases, while we are creating a static template, then it is perhaps the best way, but this is not practically the best way every time whenever we are about to create a dynamic website, because it is always easy to manipulate the background image, and that is why we will be trying to do the same effect. We will try to create the same thing into our project with the aid of this background image source. So this is what we are about to do. We will be heading back to our text editor, and in the first case, all we are about to do, we are about to create a new div here, which we will be naming as bg image, and inside, as usual, we will be creating an h1 tag, hello world. Now we will be pressing Ctrl S and we will be heading back to our project. Reloading, we will see nothing, no changes practically, except the text that we had entered hello world right over here. Let's head back to our style.css. First of all, let's copy this class name that we have created right over here, and let's head back to the style.css, and here creating the exact same class name that we had used over there. And now in this particular case, in the first place, we'll be providing each and every all those properties those we had used earlier, like this with 100%, and in the initial case, that as I had mentioned earlier, that in the prior case, while we are about to create our div, then we need to test whether it is working or not. So in that particular case, we might be using a height of, for say, 400 pixels. Let's use a background image, as we had told you earlier that we will be now using a background image instead of importing an image source into our project. So let's do the chit chat here. This is the background image source, and we will be creating our file path right over here. So the folder name goes as images, and the file name, it should be 4.jpg for say. Up to this far, we had created our project. Press Ctrl S, head back to our project and reload. And now we can see that this will be the result. We had used a background image source right over here where we had written something over it like this hello world. Now we need to adjust all those properties. Let's head back. First of all, we do not wish to repeat our image, and first of all we wish that the background image is practically covering up the whole div element, and here we will be mentioning no repeat. So press Ctrl S, head back, reload, and we can see that this will be the result. Perhaps margin border should do the trick for us. We will be providing a 1 rem of margin from the top. From both sides it should be auto calculated, but we are using practically a width of 100%, so we do not need to calibrate anything from both the sides because the 100% width of the device will be taken care of. The important point is the margin bottom, so we will be using this 3rem property. Press Ctrl S, reload, and everything goes as per schedule. Everything is right in the place. Now here, all we are going to do, we will be using a definite display property of table. Now this is a very crucial thing we will be getting acquainted with it. First of all we need to do, we need to create this display table, and inside this individual BG image class we had created an h1 tag. So we need to customize it too. Let's head back, and here we will be creating the selector name as this one. We will be using the vertical align to be in the exact middle, because we wish that our text element should be aligning into the exact middle of the same div element. Now here comes the question. We had used this property of vertical align middle, but we have never mentioned the display properties. In the first case, I'd like to add that this property vertical align, it will work only when the parent container itself is having a display property set to table, and the containing element inside it, it should be having a display table cell property to work this thing properly. So we will be using this display table cell right over here, and the width, it should be 100%, and the height will be 100%. So that's it. Now if we head back to our project and reload, we can see that from the top, the text element, it is practically aligned at the center of this individual div element with a class name of BG image, but still it is not horizontally centrally aligned. So this is the thing that we need to make up in the next case. So this is the style.css, and here in this parent holder we will be using another certain property of text align, and it should be aligned to the center. So press Ctrl S, head back to our project and reload, and now we can see that practically the hello world text is lying exactly at the central position of this individual div element. So we have practically used a background image right over here instead of an image source as we had used in the earlier case. And in the next case, all we had done, we had created a text element right over it, which is practically centered at the exact middle from the top and from the left, in the exact middle of the same div class element. Now in the next tutorial we will find out how to apply this filter effect properties on some definite background images as we can see right over here. So stay tuned for the next tutorial as we are going to explain a lot. Thanks.